She's grown up and internalized these comments, and as a result, has very low self-esteem.
What advice would you give to a sister who was told since childhood that she was too dark to be beautiful? And she grew up with very low self-esteem because of that statement. Tayyib, I'll try my best, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, to keep the answers as simple and summarized and to the point as possible, because this answer, quite frankly, can become very long and lengthy. And it is a very big problem. I will say in brief is that no doubt people have progressed and advanced. Societies in general, people have come to grips with the ugliness of racism and discrimination, nationalism, right, bigotry, etc., etc., etc. But the formal classification and the study defining it as an ism with regards to the complexion of a person is relatively modern. If my memory serves me correctly, is a doctor, a female doctor from India. I think she is credited with the discovery of colorism. I could be wrong, maybe someone before her, but from what I've learned is that it was a female doctor from India. She was the one who actually coined the term and made it into a formal ism. People have been talking about racism for a long time. Tribalism, tribes fighting and killing each other because they have different tribes and clans. Nationalism, I'm from this country, you're from that country. But within a tribe, within a nation, within a race, I treat you a certain way because of how light or how dark you are. It's a big problem, and it is very, very widespread. I've told this story before, and I'll tell the story again. When I went to India, I was in Mumbai, the capital city. The hotel that I was staying in, it wasn't just like, a normal hotel. You just walk through the automatic doors. But it's a real big complex. And before you even get to the door of the hotel, the gate is a big, long driveway. And there are gates, and there are like 2 or 3 different points of security. So they stop you at this point, they check your ID, and they search under the car for bombs. Well, all of them. And then they get on a walkie-talkie, blah, 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 and then you go to the next checkpoint. And the next checkpoint, until you get to the front gate of the hotel, and they have the metal detector, you have to take everything out of your pocket that may go off, then you're officially in the hotel lobby, right? It's not like many hotels like in America, you just walk in the lobby, whether there's a security guard there or not, but you just walk into the lobby, right? And oftentimes, it's, you can just walk up the steps, press the elevator, it's free. Sometimes they'll stop you, ask you who you visiting, or sometimes you have to have the card to use the button on the elevator, right or wrong. But in general, hotel isn't like that. But there was totally different, all right? So when I was there, I happened to see the people that were in the very front gate, whether they were security guards, whether they were gardeners, whether they were sweeping up the trash, whatever they were doing. And then I got to another point and another point and another point until the gate, until the front desk of the hotel. And I witnessed, I lied to you not, the darkest skinned Indians were the ones that were the furthest from the hotel doing the meanest types of labor and work. And every 10, 15, it's like literally like a movie, like unreal. Every 20, 30, 50 feet, the people's complexion magically gets lighter. Wallahi, like magically, like someone is just turning the knob. And then you get all the way into the middle of the hotel, the center at the front desk. The lady there has the fairest skin of all of them. So it goes from dark to light to dark. You guys get the moral of the story? Something's off. Something is extremely off. The person who has this type of job, who has that type of education just because of what they look like. But they're all, at the end of the day, what are they all? They're all what? Indians. They all belong to the same nation, same race. They may have different tribes, but they're judged and based off of their what? Color. So not too many people have really looked at it like that. Black, white, Arab, black, whatever the case may be. But blacks, dark-skinned black person, light-skinned black person. Dark-skinned Arab, light-skinned Arab. Dark-skinned Asian from Korea, fair, white, pale-skinned Asian from Korea. There's a difference in how the people are treated and the opportunities that they share for no other reason besides their color. So colorism is a big problem. And skin bleaching, soaps, shampoos, surgeries to get your skin whiter and whiter is a multi-million, if not billion-dollar business around the world. So it's an issue that many people don't want to talk about. And people, they don't come to grips with the reality of colorism and that you're a victim of colorism. You feel inferior because of the skin color, you feel superior because of your skin color. Not your race anymore, not your gender, not your tribe, but just the color, the complexion of your skin within one race, within one tribe, within one what? Household. This daughter is fair, quote unquote. This daughter is dark, quote unquote. So it's a big problem, and the Muslims are not free from this disease. They aren't. They're not free from this sickness. And we ask Allah to heal us all. Al-Muhim is my advice to her to keep things brief. هو الذي يصوركم في الأرحام كيف يشاء. Allah Azza wa Jalla, He made the people with the different tones and complexions, and thickness and thinness, and straightness and curliness, and weight and height and build. Allah created us. So who am I, who are you to say this person's ugly just because of the complexion or the pigmentation of their skin? Who am I to say that? And Allah, Al-Aziz al-Hakim, He chose to make this servant look like that and to look like this. So obviously a person who talks like that to his daughter or son, his iman for sure isn't the strongest. That's a fact. Number two, my advice to you is that that's false, that's fake, that's not true. There lies no doubt beauty is in the eye of the beholder. That's a real statement. It's not just a cliche, it's true. And you might find a woman who has dark skin to be beautiful, and you might find a woman with the fairest, palest skin to be unattractive. But the standards of the people, what the people push and say this is beauty, being thin, being like this, being like that, and this being short or being this is ugly. That's what the people have made up. But no doubt for sure, out there somewhere, there's a man. If he saw you and you are attractive to him, he would acknowledge your beauty and you being attractive. All right, so beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And people's standards and what they consider beauty doesn't mean that that's actual and factual. All right? So my advice to you is make dua for your parents. Make dua for them. Ask Allah to have mercy on them. Ask Allah to forgive them. And don't hold a grudge against your parents. And realize that your parents, they're victims themselves. They were raised like that. They were taught like that. Your mother may have been mistreated because of what she looked like. Or your mother may have been forced to marry someone because of what she looked like. Or your father wanted to do something. He was good at it, but he couldn't because his skin was too dark. So therefore, he bears the animosity, the jealousy, the rage, and the hatred. And the rule is hurt people, hurt people. Hurt people, hurt people. I was mistreated when I was younger by my parents for something. Now, you got to feel it too. So don't hold a grudge against your parents. Make dua for them. Look at your parents being miskeen. They're victims of society. Secondly, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, I would also advise you not to go to the extreme of trying to beautify and adore yourself, to make yourself accepted, like many people do. Who's going to bleach their skin? Or who's going to tan their skin? What happens when you get a tan? You burn your skin. How do you age when you get those types of tans? How do you look when you get older? Your skin starts to fall off. So bleaching your skin, blackening your skin, darkening your skin, something's wrong. You need to be able to find beauty within yourself. And the sakina is a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is the one who did what? He sent down the sakina. So you have to find beauty and peace within yourself. And if you don't, and if you can only get it from a man or a woman or a mirror or a supermodel, know for sure that you'll always be punished. And you always suffer until you are comfortable how Allah created you, and you realize that inshallah I'm beautiful and handsome because Allah made me. If this person doesn't like me, or I'm too this, then that's their problem. That's their issue. My last piece of advice that I'll give you is the advice of Hassan al-Basri, rahimahullah ta'ala. This is profound. He said, ينبغي لحسن الوجه أن يكون حسن الفعل وأن يحسن فعله ولا ينبغي لقبيح الوجه أن يكون قبيح العمل فيجمع بين القبيح أو القبحين أو بهذا المعنى. He says, if you're handsome, then your deeds have to be handsome. You look good, your deeds should be good. And if you're not so handsome to the people's conditions and their standards, then your deeds have to be good, the way you won't have two states of ugliness. You guys get the point I'm trying to make? Many people, if they're looked down upon in society, they have an attitude problem. I'm thin. I'm skinny. I always was thin and skinny. Oh, you need to gain weight. Why don't you have muscles? Or how are you a sheikh? You don't have a big belly. You look like you're an 18-year-old kid. You'd be shocked some of the stuff I told you. You'd be shocked. What do you mean? You don't eat sheikh? All you do is drink tea? Why you don't have no weight on you? Right? So therefore, I've been picked on and bullied because I'm skinny my whole life. So now I got an attitude problem. Now anyone who looks at me, man, get out my face. I got an attitude problem now. And I start cursing and having an attitude and acting in a bad way. So outwardly to the people, I'm unattractive, and my character is also unattractive. You can't do that. You can't allow somebody to drive you to have bad akhlaq because of the prejudices and the bigotries in the society. All right? So that's my advice to you. And bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, it was nothing but a matter of time before Allah blesses you with a righteous, handsome husband who will love you and who will be attracted to you inwardly and outwardly. Wallahu ta'ala.
Jazakumullah khair, Sheikh. And also bless you, increase your knowledge. Sheikh, just want to shed light on also a question maybe. I watched a YouTube video on your journey to Medina, your journey of seeking knowledge. Fascinating story. Go check it out on YouTube, mashallah. So, Sheikh, what's your advice on the youngsters? Many of them want to study in Medina, and they also maybe want to study here, or maybe prior Medina, before they get accepted to Medina as a whole procedure. So, you know, what's your advice to them, inshallah? And also, if you can share that on the journey, inshallah.
Well, Yaakov, my advice, you want to go to Medina, you want to study secular studies here too, before or after, etc. My first piece of advice is that you got to be serious. You have to take it seriously. And as one of the Salaf al-Salih, he said, قَدْ أَنذَرْتُكُمْ سَوْفًا وَلَا يَحْكِي عَنِ السَّوْفَ الْعَرِيكَ يَتَّكِي عَلَيْهِ وَإِنَّمَا يَقْصِدْ سَوْفَ كَلِمَةْ سَوْفَ. He says, I have warned you from procrastination. You cannot procrastinate. You want to study law, you want to study medicine, you want to go to the NBA, the NFL, whatever you want to do it or don't do it at all. Do or do not, there is no try. There's no such thing as trying. Do it or don't do it. So don't talk about it, don't brag about it, don't fantasize about it. Bismillah. Put your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and go. Whatever you're trying to do. That's first and foremost. And know for sure that knowledge is sweet. Nothing tastes better than knowledge. Nothing feels better than learning the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing. Nothing gives you more satisfaction than being involved with ilm and ta'lim and dawah. People making dua for you. People walking up to you. You changed my life. You know what that means when somebody walks up to you? A total stranger that you never ever met. You just, I don't know, from a can of paint. You minding your business, walking down the street, and somebody stops you and says, yo, I saw you on YouTube. You changed my life. You know what that feels like? I don't know who this guy is. And he said that I changed his life. How did I change your life? By just talking? Yeah, you changed my life. Or a non-Muslim contacting you and says, I was a kafir. I watched your videos and I took my shahada because of your videos. What's going to feel better than that? So that sweetness, that taste is not going to come for free. And it's not going to come for cheap. So you have to sacrifice. You can't talk about it, but you have to be willing to go for it. That's my first piece of advice. As far as if you want to study here, you want to have a degree in business or sociology or whatever the case may be, and also go to Medina, it's not impossible. It's doable, but you have to prioritize. Is there an age limit on going to Medina? Or is there an age limit on studying business and finance here? You only want to get older. Also, if your parents put a condition on you, I have many students and disciples, their parents aren't against them going to Medina, but they say, son, you have to have something to fall back on. You have to have some type of worldly degree. You have to. So therefore, get your bachelor's degree. You're 18 now, 2 years, 2.5 years, then we'll let you go to Medina. And some young brothers, they refuse. And they fight and they argue with their parents. Why you stop me from going to Medina? I don't want to be a lawyer. I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to be a physician. I just want to go overseas. The parents say, listen, that's the deal. You finish the degree here, we'll send you and pay for you to go overseas. It makes no sense for you to fight your parents. It makes no sense for you to argue with them. The smart thing is to do what? Knock out the degree, finish the degree, and go. Once you fulfilled your condition, now you can negotiate better with your parents. Abby, I finished the degree. You gotta let me go now. The Muslim cannot break his word. It's haram for you to break your word. You told me bachelor's. No, do master's. That wasn't the agreement, Abby. You said finish one degree and I could go. You have to send me. So sometimes, once again, you have to sacrifice. You can't have your cake and what? Eat it too. If your parents don't put that condition on you, and they allow you to go to Medina, but you say, I still want another type of degree, I would say go to Medina first. You can always come back, you can always study online, but in the city of the Rasul, you go to the Prophet's Masjid whenever you want to. You know what that means? You don't need a visa to go to the Prophet's Masjid. You want to make Fajr in the Prophet's Masjid? Go ahead. Asr, go ahead. Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha. How much Zamzam, what do you want? What scholar you want to sit with in the Prophet's Masjid? How many rewards, how many blessings would you want in the Prophet's Masjid? You get all of that by being there. You study this worldly degree, you can do it any time. You can be 40, you can be 50, you can be 30. It's 1,000 colleges out there. So if you're not forced to take a secular degree first, go to Medina first. And beware of procrastinating. I'm going to go next year. I'm going to do it next year. I'm going to do this first. And the same applies to getting married. Can a student of knowledge be married? Yes. But only a student of knowledge that's strong and that can multitask. As far as if you're easily manipulated, if you're easily distracted, go study. And when you come back, and let's keep it real, guys. Let's be honest for a second. Let's keep it 100%. Let's keep it a buck. You come back to Medina and graduate. How hard do you think it's going to be to find a wife? Right or wrong? That's not your intention, inshallah. You're not seeking knowledge for the dunya, but he has knowledge and he's handsome. He's going to get the most beautiful wife easily because he's the man. He's the sheikh. He's the imam of the masjid. He's the scholar at our masjid. So everybody's going to want your daughter to marry him. But the shaitan, he tricks you. I have to get married. No, I got to do this. I got to do dunya. You go overseas, you get the Medina degree. You can get any type of worldly degree afterwards. If you memorize the Quran, nothing is difficult to study and learn. That's a fact. That's the ultimate intelligence, is to have the ability to memorize the entire Quran by heart. So that's my nasiha, is to be serious, is to prioritize, and to realize is that we live in a world that's based off of cause and reason. You do good, you excel in the deen, the dunya will come after you. As Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah ta'ala said, that the one who, he says, the one who seeks the ilm, he'll be sought after vigorously. People will want him. People will demand him. So that's my nasiha, is being serious, prioritizing, sacrificing, and most importantly, try your best to please your parents. As far as my journey, then alhamdulillah, I was blessed. I was fortunate. My mother directly supported me to go to Medina, directly. She told me, don't listen to nobody, don't waste your time, follow your dreams. As far as my father, may Allah have mercy upon him, no doubt he inspired me to go to Medina, but a little differently. He showed me more tough love, and he was more skeptical in the beginning. He asked me critical questions. What do you want to do? How you want to survive? Are you sure about this? And my father, he himself used to study. He himself used to learn. When studying Arabic and Islam for a black American Muslim in the 70s or the 80s was rare, extremely rare. So I was influenced by my father, but not directly. My mother was the one who pushed me like the door. She closed the door on me. She said, go to Medina. So I never had those problems with my parents. My parents never forced me to get a worldly degree. As far as my grandparents, from my father's side, my paternal grandparents, then they were a bit different. And I never ever forget the day when I was graduating high school. My grandmother, she asked me, she says, Muhammad, what do you want to do with the money that we saved up for you for college? I said, I want to go to Saudi Arabia. She was like, what? What's that? Where's that? I was like, you know, Saudi Arabia, overseas, the Middle East, and this was right after 9/11. This is when everything was going on. Iraq, Afghanistan, Twin Towers, everything was crazy. She said, you want to go where? I said, I want to go to Saudi Arabia, Medina. So she kept silent for a second. And then she said, well, Muhammad, I don't think you should go there. She's a Christian. She wasn't a Christian, obviously. She wasn't a Muslim. Just listen to this, the wisdom of her. She said, you were a good grandson. You didn't bring no problems home to us, no babies, no police, no this. You were a good grandson. It's your money. Take it and do what you want with it. And that was the money I spent on my ticket, on my visa, on the books, etc. until all that money ran out. And my grandfather, he was a war veteran. You know, many people, they ask you what country you come from because they see you as a Muslim, you having a dope, but they don't realize I'm not from another country. I'm from this country. My parents been here for generations. American stock, war veteran, retired from the U.S. Postal Service. He used to drive trains. The rest of his life was laid out. Pension, retirement. You know what I'm saying? They lived comfortably. And they raised us to be successful and not to be uppity, but to have, you know, some class, right? So you're not getting a degree in this, you don't have this business, you don't have this pretty girlfriend, you're gonna go study overseas in the desert. It's hard for them to get and understand. But at the same time, she trusted my vision. And she knew that if I wasn't a knucklehead there, what's the chances of me being a knucklehead overseas? Right? So these are some of the things. Of course, there are countless brothers who helped me on my journey, who taught me Arabic in later stages, who taught me different things. Different graduates from Medina who I saw and I just adored them, their akhlaq, how they looked, how they talked, the respect. I said to myself, keep it real, that a black American is going to get from someone from overseas because of his knowledge. They respect him. They're shy to talk about Arabic in front of him. That had an effect on me. So there are many different influences and different factors. And the last thing I'll say with regards to my journey to Medina, I don't know if I should tell the story right now. I've never mentioned this story before. It's a story about my older sister. One day I was in the house and there was some friends that I had and they happened to be Muslim. And they had invited me to, you know, start selling drugs with them. They had invited me, you know, start getting money. I was young, maybe 15, 14 or whatever, young. They said, you know, come hustle with us on the corner. So me, I was like, all right, you know, okay, no problem. So they was like, meet us at such and such a place on such and such a time. So I was in the house, I never forget, I remember the room where I was in, I remember the sofa that I was sitting on. It was me and my older sister, we were the only ones home. So I was about to get out, I'm about to bust out of the house. So my sister, she happened to ask me, she said, where you going, Muhammad? And me, I was so young and stupid, I said, I'm going outside to sell drugs. So she's like, what? She's like, what do you mean? I said, I'm going with such and such and such and such. You know, they invited me. And she said, you ain't going anywhere. I'm like, what do you mean? You can't. She says, you ain't going anywhere. You're going to stay right there. So just imagine if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't put her there that day, what would I have been? Would I be sitting here right now today? Allah alam. Would I be dead or in jail for the rest of my life for 20, 30, 40 years or in a wheelchair because I was shot 7, 8 times? So the moral of the story, the point is that there are, after Allah, that's first and foremost, Allah's guidance, is that there are many people that I'm indebted to for my journey to Medina. Some people I've talked about in video, some people I haven't, some stories I haven't mentioned. And I'm grateful to each and every one of them, Muslim and non-Muslim alike. Grandmother, sister, sheikh, whoever it is. And alhamdulillah, I went to Medina when I was 18 years old. When I found out Medina University, that's all that mattered to me in my life. And I couldn't wait. The only reason why I wanted to finish high school was to get the degree to apply to Medina University. So alhamdulillah, when I finished the degree, I took the money that I had, I went and I made Umrah, I applied for the university, and I went there and I started studying. And alhamdulillah, I knew Arabic at the time, so I didn't need to study Arabic, and I benefited. And from then until now, that's been my life. And you brothers with HadithDisciple hoodies on, people listening or watching or asking this question, you don't know how long of a journey it was. And the sacrifices that we had to make, and the hardships that we went through, and all of the friends and enemies, wives, this, that, people that came and went to seek knowledge and to teach knowledge, and the responsibilities and the dangers of it today. So it's like I'm living an unreal dream. Going to Medina, coming back, and be able to teach it and spread it. Wallahi, it means a lot, and you guys don't understand. We don't take it, we take it for granted, right? Many people, they went to Medina and they didn't come back. They dropped out, they quit. Many people, they ran into this problem. So to be here in front of you, and for you to ask me about my life story, it means a lot. And we ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to hide our faults. Allahumma la tu'akhidni bima yaqulun waj'alni khayran mimma yadhunnun. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakumullah khair for those words of encouragement, Sheikh, and may Allah make it easy for us to go and seek knowledge as well, inshallah. Next question. Someone asked, my family is Christian on my father and mother's side, and I'm the only Muslim in my family. How do you cope with it from the confusion in the family, and if they're not on the same path as me?
Bismillah. Well, give them dawah. Call them to Islam. Kindly, respectfully. Give them gifts. Be kind to them. Be respectful to them. They're your family. It's not haram to love your family naturally, a natural love, not a love of faith. It isn't haram for you to listen to your mother who isn't a Muslim, or your father, or to be friendly with them. They're your family. They have rights over you. And try your best to be a good example, a good Muslim for them. Try your best to be a role model for them. And if they don't want to hear about Islam, or if they make fun of you, or they're uninterested, no problem. Lakum dinukum waliya din. We're sitting, we eat breakfast together as a family, not as faith. And that's it. And don't allow them to force you to do anything that's haram or displeasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you have to give respect and demand respect. We don't have to talk about the Trinity and Jesus. Don't make fun of my religion. I won't make fun of yours. Don't force me to eat or drink something that I can't, etc. And we will coexist peacefully. But what's important is never ever stop giving them dawah. If you can't talk about it, give them dawah physically. If they don't want it, to give them never ever stop being good to them. Give them dawah, call them to the deen, and make dua for Allah to guide them. Because you never ever know who will be guided. And you never ever know. Nothing is difficult for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah can do what He wants to do. So keep calling them to Islam. And try to be patient and never allow them to force you to do anything that violates your faith. And if it comes down to it, Iman is thicker than blood. Wallahu a'lam.
If a person who has reached the age of marriage, if a person has not yet reached the age of marriage, she sees a person that she's interested in, or he, what advice can you give that person about your situation?
Well, first and foremost is, and I'll say this openly, being attracted to somebody or liking somebody is natural. There's nothing wrong with it. And it shouldn't be shunned. It's not a bad thing if a boy likes a girl or a girl likes a boy. That's a natural inclination. And we are not to shun that. And if you shun that, you may be responsible for your child turning towards fashion or being a homosexual. You didn't welcome the natural way, so they felt acceptance in the unnatural way. So that's first and foremost. Now, that which is a natural feeling doesn't mean that you do haram. It is not a license to disobey Allah Azza wa Jalla. It is not a license to follow your desires. So, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, as we said last night, prepare yourself for marriage. If you're a man, what do you have? If I said I'll give you my daughter right now, what do you have to offer my daughter? You live home with your mom. You play video games all day. You're on your phone all day. Your parents have to force you to take a shower and wash up, brush your teeth, change your socks. It's reality. If you talk about girls, you laugh and you giggle. What do you have if I said, I'm going to give you my daughter right now? Or for a young girl, if the father says, I'll let you get married at a young, but what are you going to do? Can you, obviously we don't get in trouble with the gender role stuff again, right? You guys get the point I'm trying to make? Is in the meantime, if you're too young, if your parents won't allow you, prepare yourself. Get ready. Because the window of opportunity, it will open up. And the door of opportunity will only be open for a short period of time. So just make sure that you're ready to go through it when it's opened up. And inshallah ta'ala, there's nothing wrong with thinking about marriage. There's nothing wrong with preparing yourself for marriage or asking your parents. Be open, be upfront. Right? There's nothing wrong with that. And another story from my grandmother, I remember when I was younger, when I really started practicing, I started learning, my grandmother, she asked me, was I gay? She said to me, she said, you don't like girls, Muhammad? And the reason why she didn't ask me that is because I wasn't what? I didn't have girlfriends. I wasn't chasing girls. I was trying to do the right thing. You guys get the point? So the moral of the story is that she knew that I was of the age in which you're supposed to be with the opposite sex. It's a natural thing, all right? So therefore, prepare yourself. Talk with your parents. Don't be ashamed of it. And the parents, the nasiha to the parents is never ever shame your child for something that they feel naturally. Right? What you do with it is a different story. Haram, homosexual. But you can't shame somebody for that which is the fitrah. And Allah Azza wa Jalla surely knows best.
Inshallah, we'll pray first, and then we'll continue with the questions and answers.
And we have food, okay? Just in case.
Yeah, and there's food after the questions and answers. We try to organize it. The woman will